And on that note,
And then you can hit the right back check mark to undo that screen.
yep, and here we are, all two of us. Hello, terrifying internet. You're terrifying. I guess I'll go with call sign. Call sign is appropriate.
I listed you as Jestir.
As Jestir, yes, which is an increasingly inappropriate call sign, but I've been using it since I was 13 years old, so I see no reason to change. Yes, Kelso, I hope so. I really hope so. Of all the things it could be, cute would be of all the things I've imagined that this could be. I generally avoid appearing on the internet, ostensibly because of some sort of absurd sense of privacy, but really because I'm actually afraid that somehow I'll offend the internet and it will attack me. And the idea of being attacked by a creature with a carapace made out of social media and an internal body structure made entirely out of bad pornography. Actually, when I say it out loud, it doesn't sound that bad, but it's still like it could be awful. It'd be like that scene in the end of The Meaning of Life. Actually, Satire, that is not ice cream. That is a homemade and rather intense blackberry sherbet. Blackberries are an invasive species here in Washington. A delicious, delicious parasite that have invaded, and that you can basically not avoid picking in quantity. Like, if you just walk through the woods, you will have them fall on you. So they're in such abundant quantity that we've decided to start making things out of them, and the sherbet is a strong candidate. Yeah, exactly. Right. I am the guy that was able to briefly get her to take leave of her senses long enough to marry me. You guys can call me Jester or Huckle, or if I'm very vexing, you can do like my mother does and call me Huckleberry! But hopefully we won't get to that point. And I'm here to share with you at least one, possibly two game experiences that have, over the last year, that have meant quite a lot to me. One of them is my sort of go-to perennial casual game, and the other is something that I basically mainline. I don't know if we'll get to the mainlining component. I'm not sure if I want people to see me in that capacity in the throes of my addiction. But for right now, the game that I want to share with everybody is Space Run Galaxy. Now, some of you, there's a high statistical probability that some of you are in the feedback force. Speak up if you are. In which case, my understanding is you guys played the original Space Run.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, as exercises in relative firepower go, was very compelling, and I get the impression... Right, well, they did, Kelso, and not only did they make a sequel, but it has multiplayer implications, which I'll demonstrate in a couple of minutes here. Right, exactly. So, I suspect in the course of the original Space Run, I'm beginning to think more and more that it was a sort of proof of concept game for a split mix between reverse tower defense and actual tower defense. And I believe the main piece of feedback, I have a suspicion, an intuition, that the main piece of feedback that they got for Space Run, the original Space Run, was that you can't reconfigure your spaceship. Because that's certainly the thing I most wanted to do. You just take the spaceship that they give you, and you can't change it. And Space Run Galaxy is basically built around the idea that you can, in fact, do that. And also, it sort of emphasizes the whole trucker contracting concept, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm going to change over here if I go to... And then I do. Yeah, and unmute the game. Oh, yeah, in the... Yeah, okay. Blank. Now, I do have to do a sound check here. Can you guys hear that okay? It should just be the sort of generic opening trumpety theme. Actually, Satire, what's going to be happening is we're going to be engaging in diplomacy with other spaceships. And also with asteroids. And, oh god, I hope not. I hope we don't have the giant space squid. I hate the giant space squid. They have... Well, okay, one giant space squid is okay, but lately they've been coming at me in pairs, and that's way too many tentacles. I mean, I guess I can appreciate, you know, 3 or 4 tentacles, as much as the next guy, but possibly more. But 8 tentacles at once is too many tentacles, as you'll probably see. Oh, one other thing that you're going to see a lot of today is me dying spectacularly. Because although I enjoy Space Run Galaxy tremendously, I am not very good at it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna start, and you'll notice on the load screen already they had to bring up a secondary server at launch time. On day one, the game actually crashed repeatedly because of the overwhelming response. It's one of those good problems. It was very frustrating at the time, but I'm sympathetic. So everything in the game now is cloud stored, for reasons that'll become apparent in just a couple seconds. As soon as it loads, I do have to warn you. Right now, I'm using Kylo's amazing desktop, which we built to be amazing, or at least less embarrassing than mine. My system actually doesn't run Space Run very well. I'm not sure why. It doesn't suspend well, and it seems to have some kind of problem drawing repeated iterations of certain types of cargo. So I got to warn those of you with lighter systems that although Space Run is not a large game and it doesn't seem to be doing anything particularly taxing, I'm not sure how well optimized it is. So what you see me doing here is clicking on these gifts, and these aren't actually gifts. These are contracts that I have asked other players to complete for me. See, that's the sort of core casual game mechanic. There's no direct interaction between players, but each of these planets is a site that I can visit, and I can fast travel between them, thus. And the connecting points are routes that I run between planets, and I'm going to do one in just a minute here. But before I do that, I want to explain the major multiplayer addition that they made since Space Run, and that's the idea of flipping cargo between locations. If you look at a planet, you'll see these little dots, and what those dots do, they represent the capabilities of the mechanic on that planet.
They can't see you pointing. You have to use the mouse.
Right. I'm using the mouse. I am using the mouse. The mouse is already there, and I'm gesturing with my hand as well. It's for my edification. I'm gesturing for me. Okay. You see these dots, and they represent the capabilities of the mechanic on the planet. So if I visit the planet, bring up the mechanic, and I always like the mechanic here. This robot with this. I don't even know what it is that robots smoke. Anyway, you'll see all these different modules that the robot mechanic can make. Gesture. Man, I hope not. I've been reading about Watergate a lot. It's a frightening concept. These are all modules that the mechanic can make and add to my ship. And over here on the side, you've got the listing of all the stuff that I've bought. Now, a lot of you who played the first game will remember that you can, at least in the first game, you had the central mechanic of you can purchase a module at any time as long as you have the, whatever they call it, scrap for it. I was going to go with grist there because I've been reading Homestuck, but it's scrap from blowing various things up. The major sort of barrier that I've run into, and that initially was really nail-biting for me, is that while I'm on a mission, I can only build as many of these modules as I've purchased. So, as you can see, I have an awful lot of the generic plentiful and cheap laser cannon, and not so many of the major laser Gatling gun, which I just got for the first time yesterday. Exactly, Kelso. It's you understand. You got to get that build grist. You do actually build. In fact, I think I can buy another one. Just look at that. So in the last day, in sort of a panic, when I realized that I'd actually agreed to do this, I scheduled, I think, a total of 12 contracts. For completing missions, you're awarded these build components. And as you can see, I've got them scattered all over the galaxy, or all over this star system. I do actually have them scattered all over the galaxy as well, but I'll get to that later if I have time. So the way you can actually take these modules and put them on your ship and carry them from place to place, but that's extremely unrewarding and vexing. Yeah. Right? The resemblance with FTL is striking. It has the same kind of time stress, the same kind of nerve. You'll see me secreting sweat from the same glands that I use for FTL. Yeah, it gets intense. This actually gets, if anything, more intense than FTL. But unlike FTL, this is not a roguelike, and it never punishes you for failure. That's one of the things that they did very well. And also, if I contract with another player, here, I'll make a contract and show you guys how it works. One of the things they did very well was make the interface excellent. So, for example, I want to use red modules, which means I want to build guns at this location. To do that, I've got to move red modules from, say, Torion here. Now, I can actually do it like this. Actually, better idea. I'll move red since they both have an offensive module upgrader bot. So I'll actually, since it's relatively smaller, I'll actually move my modules the other direction. So what you do to create a contract is you double click on the stuff in question, and you can add to it, like I just did. And then you click on the destination. I could create this contract and bill it so that players have to take it. As you notice, there's no direct connecting. Right, mouse. There's no direct connecting space lane between these two planets. And I could just create this contract, in which case players who want to take it would have to look at the contract menu, and then they'd have to go either to Wicus 8 or Zohra, and then from there take the cargo to Torion. And I should mention that if a player happens to fail, my cargo is returned to its original starting point. So you're not actually penalized for contracting out. But I'm not going to do that. And the reason I don't do that is because players almost never take these multi-hop contracts. Not because they don't want to, but because of the way the interface is set up. And I'll show you that in just a second. If I click on a planet, these routes, like out to Eris here, the game with the interface very handily tells me that some players have contracts available for this run, and I'm going to run that one in just a second to kind of show you guys my personal terror. That's how most players take contracts, is they'll land on a planet, and they'll see that there's contracts on a route, and they'll just run that route and pick up the contracts. But you'll notice that there are 5 other contracts here. 5 other contracts here that don't have any route listing, and those are multi-planetary contracts. Players blitz right past those. So instead of contracting my red materials to go directly to Torion, I'm going to send them to Zohra. And now a player who happens to be on this planet is going to see that contract pop up. It'll pop up on the route here. And then once that contract is complete, I'll move the contents from Zohra over to Torion, probably with the other 2 red modules there. And then I'll have all my red modules in one place, and I can buy terrific guns. Or at least a lot of mediocre ones. So that's the sort of implementing side of, I don't know what to call it. It's the side of the game that oh, you know what? Before I even do the run, there's one other thing I should probably show you guys. It's the side of the game that takes full advantage of the multiplayer thing, and you could horribly exploit it. Like if you conspired with another player, you could create huge contracts and just run back and forth between 2 planets and have the contracts get bigger and bigger and bigger. Kelso, I know there was a paper prototype at some point. It is the game that Space Run is heavily influenced or possibly inspired by. Galaxy Truckers.
List a lot of curriculum in their thank yous.
Which is a game more than any other that reminds me of the limitations of attention deficit disorder. My God, it's terrifying. I am so astonishingly bad at Galaxy Truckers. Yeah, that's the one, and it's a good game in which you build your spaceship, which is what I'm going to start doing right now, actually. The other major feature upgrade is the spaceport. This is my spaceship. It's I believe it's the Class 3 Liberty. It's basically a space-going dinner plate. Let me see if I can get this to, there we go, like that, and one of those, like that. Okay. These blue dots represent cells that potentially can be filled. and obviously the hexes are cells that I actually have filled. If we were to look at the Liberty without any of the extra hexes filled in, without any of the cells installed on it, you'd see that it just consists of this core right here. These 7 cells. This is the cockpit, and this is the thruster. Everything else are cells that I've added on to the ship. I chose the Liberty 3 because of its dinner plate design. I actually had another ship earlier. Yeah, exactly. The problem with the dinner plate design is that I probably look delicious to oncoming space squid, and I have, for reasons that'll become apparent in a few minutes here, that's not a good thing. But you'll also notice that I've adopted a pretty specific design approach. I call this the tortoise. These are offensive pods, these 5 around the main sort of thrust here. And back here, this is my thrust pod. This is where I mount my thrusters. And I do this because of the way enemies approach, and so far it's been working out pretty well for me.
New shape validated.
Okay. So, I'm going to show you guys what a mission is like. So, I do have the option of taking storyline missions as well, by the way. It's not just players flipping. Smile. Oh, he'll have eyes. I'll give him eyes. One searing eye. Yeah, so if I hit the run button, it took a while for me to get used to this component of the interface, but now I can refresh, and this will bring up all the different contracts that happen to be on that particular run. One of the weaknesses of my ship design is that it doesn't have all the cargo room in the world. So I think I can take any 2 of these, and Blarg looks like he has a lot of stuff that needs to make that run. Oh, and I should mention that I've never actually made this run, this exact specific run before. This is one that I just unlocked yesterday, so I'm going to accept probably more cargo than I should. A lot more cargo than I should have taken. I'm going to be so sorry. One other thing I should advise folks, if you're interested in playing, it took me a long time to fully understand this, probably because I don't usually read manuals, but this cargo is adding to the mass of my ship, and it is actually reducing my thrust. So I'm going to need more thrusters to go faster, but fortunately I think I have an adequate thrust power. We'll see. Let's take off screen. I'm going to resist the temptation to skip it. As the Liberty Tortoise lumbers into the space line. So I might be a little less... oh god! Holy crap! There's a lot of things! Okay. So I have... let's see. A pirate commander and pirate starfighters approaching from Tau 8ths. And I have this thing, which is actually... those things are actually kind of dangerous. Approaching from 5 Tau over 8. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it clockwise, surely.
No.
Construction on its way.
That's wrong. Oh no! Okay, so I misplaced that, actually. I'm going to regret misplacing that, but that's okay. That's okay, I've got an idea. So the modules that I've installed are actually fairly new in my experience. This is a massive Gatling laser that advances my diplomatic capabilities substantially. This magnetic tower will fire on basically everything that... oh dear, this is going to get ugly. It's an egg dropper. It's dropping eggs at me, and because of its relatively low fire rate, the magnetic tower isn't doing a lot of damage. In fact, I think that thing's going to get away. I think I need to improve my diplomatic posture.
Wise choice.
With respect to... oh dear, oh no. Yes, okay, good. The eggs are very slow moving and not very dangerous, or I should say they are very slow moving and deceptively they seem less dangerous than they are. They actually do a lot of damage, but they don't do it very quickly. They do corrosion. Yeah, I know, right? Satire? I have exactly the same feeling. I don't really know what's going on either. Sure. Sure, we could name my guns after people in chat. The different pods. That's a good idea.
Space Runner,
I could
we
name the
need more
pods.
speed.
So we could name my. Yeah. Okay. So in a second, hopefully I'll have enough breathing room to actually describe kind of what my master plan here is. Alright, so I'm actually going to pause. Okay, so what you guys have seen me do in a panic, which is generally what you do things in. You're generally panicking when you're playing this particular iteration of Space Run, although that was true of the first one too. I don't know if you guys, how visible this is. Yeah, right. Okay, so you're starting to see, probably by now, you've figured out what my defensive strategy is. These pods are where I install my weaponry, and enemies always approach from one of 6 vectors. They can approach from... No! Strangely enough, enemies can never approach from directly above or directly below. They always approach from the vectors that I'm going to call tau 8ths, or 3 tau over 8, or half tau, or 5 tau over 8. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then this is 3 tau quarters. And then this is 7 tau? 7/8 tau. This is 7/8 tau. And this is just tau. And I chose to use the tau thing partly because of mathematical advocacy, because I'm starting to really hate pi after I saw Byhart's video on the subject. But also because there's a pretty good chance that, since it's so obscure, none of you will notice that I'm actually doing it wrong. Bonus points if you can ascertain how I'm doing the tau wrong. So at the 5 tau over 8 position, I've installed this double blaster, which players of the first game will probably recall and love very much. It has the ability to split, so it can point in 2 different directions. It gives me a lot of mouse. All right, this will be idle satire. Okay, I think this will be the Kelso pod. She's the mod. That's true. That's true. And it's also the most modded pod that I have. So this will be the Kelso. Ruby, yeah, which is appropriate because it's firing, red, bright red, searing red diplomacies. So the main sort of breakthrough that I had the other week was these connectors. This module here isn't a weapon. What it does is it takes any quality possessed by an adjacent cell and maps that quality to any cells adjacent to itself. So, for example, I have this weapon upgrader here, and it's being mapped from the connector to the to this twin laser. And it took me, I didn't fully appreciate how valuable that was until fairly recently. And I'm going to show you in a second why I appreciate that feature. So, obviously my cell structures are taking damage, so I'm going to install some repairing units. So even though the repairing unit repairs any structure adjacent to it, oh god, Satire, you're actually about right. The pod does want to hug us. And I do have a headcanon. What did I just install? Oh god, what have I done? I do actually have a headcanon that the asteroids, the hostile crystal asteroids, are actually trying to reproduce with my spaceship. Yeah, the healing thingies repair adjacent structures, but because I've got this connector, this healer will repair, well, if it ever takes any damage, it will actually repair this cargo. It will repair these two upgraders because they're next to it. But it will also, because of the connector, it will also repair any structures that I put in these locations here. So, those healers are pretty core to my whole apparatus as well. Without them, my structures will take... there's no way for me to keep this massive laser cannon from taking, frankly, alarming damage, actually. Yeah, Kelso, we'll probably see some of those before too much longer. And I'll explain my headcanon in detail. It's actually pretty well thought out. So...
Quite an interesting choice.
So I'm going to switch to utility equipment.
Captain, I suggest we speed things up.
she's right. I need to install some thrusters. By the way, that voice that you're hearing is my AI, and she's way better than the AI in the first game. She's way more friendly, and her jokes, it's amazing. Her jokes are actually funny once in a while. I mean, not always, but, you know, they make the effort. So, what's neat about these plasma cannons is that when they fire, they heal any structures adjacent to them. I'm going to install a repair. Anyway.
Wise choice.
Gee, that's, yeah. Goldberg, you're actually... One of the things I'm going to do tonight is try to build a ship kind of from scratch. Oh dear. Some restoration. I should probably explain unit abilities in a second here. Okay. So, excellent, that worked. So, when I click on a module that I've installed... I cough horribly. Apparently, because I breathe a spider in. Please. On the fly is putting it mild. Okay, so when I click on a module, this mini interface comes up. This is the sell button in case... I'll be okay. I won't dead. I hope. I click on the... this is the sell button in case I very foolishly install a module in the wrong place. I almost never do that because the number of... Not because I don't frequently install modules in the wrong place by accident, but because the number of modules I can build is fundamentally limited. Like, if I sell that laser cannon, I don't get it back. It does not go back into my build queue. So I have to be careful about where I place things. If I misplace something, I've usually got to go with it. I actually misplaced this blue lightning tower, but I've got to... I don't have a choice. I've got to try to work around it. It's working out okay for me so far. This is the activated ability. And again, those of you in the first game are probably more familiar with the mechanic where the activated ability has a certain cooldown and uses a certain amount of scrap, and also usually has an energy requirement. Activated abilities no longer require scrap, and there is no energy mechanic in this game. Instead, I have this mechanic, which I believe is called Focus. It's based on how fast my ship is. Oh dear, I'm gonna run out of time. I'm gonna fail this mission if I don't get my act together here. It's based on how fast my ship is going, how much velocity I've added. Wow, I might not be able to complete this mission actually. Oh well, we'll see. This other ability is I think it's called the trait of the module, and that allows, that's a special ability that doesn't require anything to activate. In the case of these sustained beams, the trait allows me to swivel the gun from position to position. So I have got to get my act together here, install my remaining thrusters, and I'm going to put an upgrader there so they thrust a little harder. As the AI is fond of saying, who doesn't love a good thrust? Oh, here comes one of these new crystalline end. Those are really dangerous. Like, they rip the heck out of my ship. Oh, good. Okay, so if you see down here, you'll see that the first star is turned green. That means I'll actually deliver it at least on time to complete the contract. I won't get any special bonus stuff for completing early, but, you know, I'll at least arrive. Okay. So, panic here, crystalline creature.
Quite an interesting choice.
So these crystals are weird. As I destroy more and more of them, their fire rate increases and they become significantly more dangerous to my ship. Case in point. Oh dear. Oh good. Okay, I got them all. That was actually kind of close. I almost lost this gun. So the other thing that you might or might not have noticed me doing there was...
Construction start.
Defenses. And by defenses, I mean diplomatic ships. The nice thing I like about these little red missile launchers that I'm installing is that I can point them anywhere. They don't have to be pointed out into open space like the cannons do. So, little review of what I just did there. First of all, you guys might have noticed me using the trait feature on these guns. The double cannon splits open and fires in two directions, in two very widely spread directions. When I activate its trait, it's actually very flexible and versatile. It also does a lot of damage in both direct fire and split mode. These little missile pod doohickeys that I'm installing can be put anywhere on the ship. I'm putting them in these pods because they can take advantage of the two upgraders that I have installed here. And more than that, I don't think I have to worry about. Oh yes, I also use the remote shield ability. Shields are a little different, again, versus the first game. Shields work a little differently. In the first game, the shields threw a dome, a bubble, over the surrounding area. Now they only provide direct damage reduction for the adjacent structures. So I'm going to use the big laser ray feature, because I don't want corrosive damage destroying my cargo. And I can go to Lusty Beam, which fans of the first game will probably recognize as the plasma beam.
The client will be pleased.
Okay, and we have arrived. Now, this run is typical in a lot of ways. Most notably, I have barely arrived on time, and some of my cargo is smoking. That's pretty... I used to take pride in delivering undamaged cargo in 3-star time. I was very proud of this for a long time until I realized that it's basically impossible. Even if I had lost cargo, the player whose contracts I've accepted would not suffer any penalty. The cargo would just be returned to its point of destination. The point of origin, thank you.
You have made another space runner happy.
Right now I'm receiving various rewards. Wow, an awful lot of rewards for completing... should I refresh this? It's gone dead for a while. Okay. Wow, okay, see? Exceptional. That's always good. These exceptional materials can be used for anything. Normally, like, defensive materials can only be used to build blue defensive structures and red for red offensive structures and so on and so forth. But these exceptional materials can be used for anything. I have a very specific use for them, which you'll probably see in just a minute.
Well done. Soon your name will be known in the whole galaxy.
What? Huh. Well, that's a little different. So, this contract just rewarded me with a ship. A new ship design. Sure. Ruby, I recommend it to anyone. The thing I like about this that I'm not sure if this was a feature they designed for, or if it just sort of happens. But the game can be played either as a hardcore. You can actually leather ass this game for a couple hours, like I'm apparently going to do tonight. Or you can play it very casually. You can play it. You can just do a couple missions. Like I like to do a mission right before work. I take my nap. I wake up. I've got 45 minutes before work. I do a mission. It takes maybe 10 minutes. I set some contracts. I can just walk away. So the game's playability is elastic, and that's actually very rare quality. Kudos to them for either discovering it accidentally or designing it on purpose. To Ampule, I think, is the name of the company. Yeah, so I've got a new ship. I've got to look at that. I've got to take a look at that. That's...
Captain, always a pleasure.
Okay, so... This is my old dinner plate configuration. I traded in for a bigger dinner plate. God, I think it's this one. Oh, look at this. Look at this ship. So this is this weird... Yeah, or it does look like a Minecraft pickaxe. It's a sort of hammerhead design. Now, I might try it out. It's got kind of the same problem, maybe a little bit, that my Liberty does, which is that it doesn't have a lot of cargo room. But we'll see. So I have purchased, because of the nature of the Liberty, because I wanted to configure my ship in weird, arbitrary ways, I purchased a lot of extra cells. That's my cell stock right there, and I can install them like this. One of the things that does irritate me about this process is that I can't really control where this thruster goes. Like, if I put something in front of it, it'll always move it to the back, and it will always move it along this line. There's no way for me to move it to the left or to the right. Likewise, the cockpit. There's no way for me to move this. It's always going to be in that cell. So I don't... the cockpit location doesn't usually bother me because it's the most central location on the ship. Your ship can withstand having anything destroyed on it except the cockpit. If the cockpit's destroyed, you lose the whole thing. So, this is kind of a nifty tail section, but I'm going to build out the hammerhead a little bit. So should I try this? I can try this. I've never used a ship like this before. I'm going to build some nice lobes onto it. That lobe design is a deliberate choice of mine. It has to do with my preference for those twin blasters. They need a lot of space in front of them to get better coverage. Otherwise, the advantage of using them is greatly diminished. So we can, let's see. I wonder if I can fill out the whole ship. Yeah, I'll build into here. Yeah, I think I can. And just like that, I've got a...
Sell the spare.
Well, yeah, I've got, Am I missing? Oh, yes, there we go. It's not one cell to spare. I still have 3 extra cells in stock, but this ship, satire, very good! I'm not sure how many people will pick up on that, but yes, very good. I always did like the Ferengi episodes. No, I think the new ship I got is this one.
Always fun to tinker with
Oh,
the
no,
ship.
that can't be right. It's filled out. So maybe it's this. Maybe this one is the one I don't know. It's mysterious. I don't know. The Hammerhead one is. Let me just check here.
Never hurts to tweak a ship.
This one I was never sure about. This is it's called the Cyclops. It does have a design feature that I like. This gap in the middle is an excellent place to put thrust pods. And it's nice because it's central and it's well protected. In the first game, I liked that a lot because enemies would come up from behind and blast your pods into oblivion. In this game, I've noticed that enemies almost never come from dead aft. And if they do, one of the most damaging things I can do is the afterburner feature on those high drive boosters that I use. So I don't usually sweat enemies coming at me from behind. I don't know what... I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I can install blue cells. Of course, now I have to paint the Liberty purple. Yeah. So yeah, that's another feature they added is that you can kind of scale. I think that's the...
Color code your different pods so that you know what to put there.
Well, I could color code different pods so that I know what to put there, but the thing is, I don't generally know what to put in a pod until I'm actually in space. Let me just fill that. So I'm pretty sure this is the ship that I got. Actually, the Hammerhead. I think this is the one I earned. That's the Stellar Drifter. I don't remember buying that, so I'm gonna apply the changes.
Exquisite taste as always.
And if you guys want to see an absolute disaster, I can try this ship. I think I'm going to do it.
Excellent choice as always.
I have no idea how to arrange defenses on a ship like this. I've never flown it before. The user manual is in, I'm pretty sure that's the language of Rolia. But we're going to try it. Because I'm all about the trying new things. Let me do a story mission. Let's see. This looks like a run. These stars denote my best score on the run, and it is obvious I've actually been able to complete these runs with full delivery speed. So that means there's a limit to how difficult and dangerous they can be. If I visit the planet, hold on, let me just see. So this is Phasos, and this is Arak. Okay.
Pick a mission and get rolling.
Oh God, no. So, as in the first game, you can take contracts from various factions, and I hate this faction so much. This cybernetic pile of man meat with the metals apparently attached to his body. I actually appreciate his agenda. He's part of the Force. They're trying to defend humanity. But unfortunately, his cargoes have a tendency to... Well, you know what? Maybe I should just show you. Let me just take a quick look here. Okay, see? Yeah, I'm going to die spectacularly. Because there's a pirate ship between me and Rama Station. So, may as well have all my disasters occur. Cyber Huskies. Actually, you're not far off, Satire. At least his opinions on the enemies are very similar to the sort of Cold War mentality. These, by the way, in the background here, you can see the giant crystals that I was talking about. My headcanon is that these crystals reproduce by crashing into each other and dissolving into smaller crystals that then gather matter and become large and then crash into each other. I also, as part of the development on this headcanon, I believe that they see the world using really, really crappy radar. So my ship looks like an extremely attractive other crystal, which would explain why they're so aggressively trying to crash into me. I feel a little bad rewarding their efforts with diplomacy, but I really do have to get the cargo in on time.
Select a challenge.
Okay. So this is sort of a perfect storm scenario for me, where I'm using a ship that I've never flown before on a mission that I know is going to be insanely difficult to complete a contract using the cargo that I hate the most. And you'll see why I hate this cargo in a little bit. But on the other hand, the game does reward you with experience, which is analogous approximately to, right, Kelso? I mean, I wondered about that too. I don't know. Maybe they look on me as just extremely pregnant to crash into me. It depends on how you on how you think about it. But the game does award experience, which is equivalent to reputation from the first game. It allows you to build more and better modules. Basically, the whole game is built around letting you do that. I can't believe I'm doing this. So one of the nice things about this game is that when you fail, you at least fail spectacularly. Oh god, these things. So astute players will notice these wigglers sticking out of the thing. Yeah, those will damage any structure adjacent to the module that I've installed. I don't know why the Force feels the need to... Yeah, exactly, right? Deliver my cargo to them by explosions. I don't know why the Force feels the need to ship boxes full of tentacle monsters across space, but those I could tolerate without any difficulty. This is the real problem. This robot will periodically fry nearby structures. Hopefully it won't blow up my cockpit. We'll see. The ship's a little heavier and larger than my Liberty, so... Here we go. Jump gate here. See, if you've got to get in the lane, if you've got to get into a jump gate to do that... oh boy, okay, strong start here. Okay, let's go with a laser machine gun pointing out the front.
This is why you're the captain.
Let's get some other offensive...
We have more firepower.
Here and a lot of offensive. Oh, offensive upgraders for everybody. Boink, boink, boink. Okay, I should be fine now. Yeah. I think the offensive upgraders improve the fire angle of the. Yeah, see right there. He's doing it. He's doing it. Did you see him do that? Did you see those tentacles frickin' burst out? You have no idea. Oh, I hate that. What is that? What are they even for? Like, the robot thing that's going to blow up parts of my ship, I understand that, but... Hey, look, competitors coming in from Tau Halves. Yeah, huh. Tau over 2. Coming in from Tau over 2. Vector. Half Tau. Tau Halves. Nice. Oh, God! Oh, God, you guys saw that, right? Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. So, I'm going to send a friendly hail to these competitors. Just going to say hi, no big deal. I'm going to install a repairing module because it looks like these tentacles are going to rip apart that robot, which, I got to say, I'm not exactly... The idea doesn't exactly bother me that much. But yes, I'm going to send my hailing signals to the Oh look, my hailing signals are aimed right at the cockpit. That's good. The nice thing about blowing up a cockpit is that you get the whole ship. I mean, establishing diplomatic relationships with the cockpit is that you don't need to establish diplomatic relations with any other part of the ship. You just the whole thing. There it goes. I need to fix
we
my.
need more speed.
Wow. Okay. And she points out that I do need to go faster, and that is an absolutely legit criticism. Let's go with Dabusta.
Right away.
And Dabusta, Dabusta, Dabusta. Okay.
Thruster
Uh-oh.
ready.
Repair things. And I think I'm going to install a repair kit up front, too.
Construction start.
You know what? I'm going to install the new module that I got. I've never used these before.
Oh man, I really liked that construct.
Robbie the robot would stop blowing up my ship! Oh no, parasites! I did not have enough firepower to repel the parasites. Those are a problem. They're going to attach themselves to my ship and rip chunks of it off. Not a lot I can do about it now, though, since they're already attached. Okay. Gotta get my head in the game here. Magnetic tower. Doink. Like that.
At your command. Construction finished.
Oh dear. That's okay, it's just the repair module. This is some. Yeah, right, Goldberg? That's my thought, too. Like, you can't pay me enough to carry this particular cargo, but no, apparently not. That would be too appropriate.
At your command. It's ready to upgrade.
You know what? I got an idea. I can put a connector right here, and that will take. This is the this thing I've installed here is the protective aegis. It's a shielding system. That will. Yeah, nice, nice. That gets me shields all over the place. Shields for everybody. Oh dear, I have misery approaching me. So because I'm under incredible stress, I'm gonna install this. Oh crap.
Missile launcher ready. I hope we got some more to replace this one.
So yeah, I'm firing acid rain at my. Oh no! Oh no! There's a mine layer that's gonna blow up my ship. Note that the mine layer can actually blow physical chunks off the chassis of my ship, not just the.
Ouch.
There we go. Blow physical chunks off the chassis of my ship, and not merely. Wow, everything's going
You're
south.
on a roll. Full of enemy destruction.
Oh dear. Oh god, they're all over me. The parasites are
I
everywhere.
hope we got some more to replace this one.
This is somewhat like that old gypsy woman said. Also, I'm out of focus. Yeah, basically, Kerbal is not too far off. Oh man, they're gonna rip off my cargo, which is absolutely okay. Get away with it, but that's okay. They'll have plenty
At
of
your
cargoes.
command.
I need to install more thrusters so I can get more focus.
The faster, the better.
Hey, put me back on schedule to actually arrive. I'm gonna try. Oh god, that just blew up another chunk of my ship. Okay, I'm gonna try installing this new rail. This structural stabilizer. Supposedly, it makes my ship more resilient. Man, I hope so, because I need all the help I can get at this point.
Construction complete.
Oh god, that's a. Oh wow, that's a lot of pirate captain. I'm going to spend all my money and install my best remaining guns. I'm out of those. Thought I bought another one of those. Okay. What can I do? I can destroy. I can install a decoy.
A wise choice.
That may
as
draw some of
always.
this fire. But mostly, I think I'm going to go with the plasma missile batteries that I have left. There, doink. And I'm out of money. I am so
At
screwed.
your command.
One thing I do have going... Oh, shoot. He won't be in range of it. Okay.
Too late to run. Now I'll have some fun.
The stabilizer Kelso... Goldberg, we're about to find out, actually, who needs stability. I can't actually complete the mission. He's going to fire a shackle onto my ship that's going to hold me in place. Yeah, see that shackle that he discharged. I actually can't go anywhere until I've defeated him. Which I may... There's a slight chance I'll be able to do that. It depends on whether or not my ship is still operational when it swings around. When you notice his vector here, he's going to swing around into the fire arc of my guns. Oh, crap. Of course, by that time, all my stuff's gone. So I don't have enough focus to fire my main. And I lost cargo, too. It's okay.
Speed is good.
There we go. I can fire the lightning storm and hope that I blow up his cockpit. I didn't blow up his cockpit. But I might. Bam! Got it.
Enemy ships
Well,
always
okay,
make
so,
me smile.
Segments? Oh, you mean the pirate fights? I actually kind of like the pirate fights. I'm very pleased with myself for not being humiliatingly blasted into space dust for that. But as you can see, there's not a lot left of my ship. One of the few mercies about specifically delivering for the Force as a client is that if you bring in a third of the, or if you bring in, if you come in with a third of the cargo missing, they'll write it off. I'll still get full XP. I won't get as much award, but you know. Oh, excuse me. Well, it takes a while, Ruby. The acid rain
Well, we
does corrosive damage to the enemy ship, which means that when a missile hits, it does a little bit of damage over time to whatever it hits, and more importantly to all adjacent structures. So when I fire off all those salvos of acidic rain, yeah, it does do a lot of work against an enemy that I have to fight for a long time. It's not very useful against asteroids because it generally won't destroy them before they wander in and blow up my ship. Still, I have arrived.
At ease, soldier.
Yeah, I better be at ease. Oh, sorry, that wasn't you. Not bad. I've noticed that the AI assigned missions, the in-game assigned missions, they give you, first of all, that's the way you get most of your experience. You can get a tiny little bit of experience for completing player assigned missions. But you get most of it for completing these story missions. You can only get the experience once, though. After that, you can only get the regular rewards. I have noticed that players don't tend to put up monetary rewards. When I was assigning contracts earlier, I can actually put up a bill. I forget what it's called. It's like a riser or something. I can attach money to the contract. If somebody completes it, they get paid off in credits. But that costs me credits, so I never do that. Whereas the AI assigned missions do give a lot of credits, as represented here and here. I'm actually getting kind of fat on credits right now, so maybe I can buy something. I don't know. Yeah, see, and here I am. I've unlocked a new area, Rama Station, and if I visit it, this is another new mechanic. Madame Roma. Oh, sweet. See, look at this. These are new Class 5 ships. Look at these ships. They're huge. They're like... I don't know about that one. Oh, look at that. Look at that ship. Capricorn. Cool. Oh! It's the new dinner plate ship! That's going to be my ultimate ship right there. That ship that you're seeing right there, that's going to be the last ship I use. I'm going to fill in all of those cells. Man, look at all those possibilities. I could configure the Infinity however I want. I don't have nearly enough. I have about a third as much money as it would take to buy that ship. But that's okay. I can figure it out. The other thing that I'll come back here. I mean, I can't even use the Liberty at this point. I can't even use all the cells available to the Liberty at this point. The other thing that she does sell are these delivery highways. Sometimes they unlock secret locations. In this case, it
Never
should.
met a credit I didn't like.
It should unlock a new part of the map, or it should unlock a new route between two planets. That's actually something that I unfortunately neglected early on in the game and didn't realize it was valuable until later. Those secret delivery highways make a big difference. They make possible certain contracts that would otherwise be either painfully time-consuming. Oh, you like this mechanic? Like, she's not actually a mechanic. She's a merchant. She sells stuff. In this case, she's selling me secret delivery highways and new ship categories, which are awesome, but way overpriced. So let's see what that did. Right there, see? This route isn't particularly useful. There's no sort of options on it. Just okay. Take a look here. So, in order to progress through the systems of the game, you do have to level up. There will probably be a story mission here once I ding up to level 13. And the only way to gain levels is to complete the story missions, which is probably what I'm going to be doing next. I should show you guys the galaxy. So, there are 4 systems. Yeah, right. Well, I might have called her a mechanic. It's completely possible under the incredible stress of facing the internet head-on like this. That I've misspoken a lot. My God, what have I said? I should watch the VODs and make sure that I haven't revealed the missile launch codes. I gotta be careful about that. Anyway, this is the galaxy. Quartz is the 3rd system that I've been to. Titan is the 2nd, and the starter system is Veyra. And I'll just drop down there real quick. Poke my head in for a minute. For some reason, the systems take a long time to load. I do not know why. I think the game has poor memory optimization. I'm not sure. So yeah, Veyra. Notice the green check marks. That indicates that I've completed all the story missions available from that node. You can repeat story missions, but you can't get the XP twice. Only the money. So apparently I had a contract here. The Veyra system, it's the first system, and I'm not going to run missions here, but I should mention that strangely enough, being high level and having all these fancy guns doesn't really make me any better at doing the earlier missions. Reason being that the early missions starter cash is less, and the enemies reward less scrap as you proceed through the mission. So, like having this big giant spaceship that I'm flopping around the galaxy in that Hammerhead design would actually be a disadvantage because its mass is so great that I would probably be unable to afford thrusters that would allow me to complete the mission in any kind of timely fashion. So the other sort of point of irritation is you'll notice I have all this cargo flopping around. If there's a way to move cargo from system to system, I do not know what it is. Which means that every time I change systems, every time I upgrade systems, I have to start amassing build cargo all over again. And I gotta tell you, that gets old. So, same problem in the Titan system. If I was to visit it, you'd see that I have all this junk lying around in the system. So, I don't know why this load takes so long. This was true of the first game too. It had weird load times, and I just think that their engine is not optimized well. I have other reasons for thinking that. So I'm going to activate the story mission for this particular planet, mostly to show you guys, particularly those of you who played the first game. Anyone who played the first game will remember that in the story missions, or in the mission briefings, they attempt to tell jokes. But in this, they actually occasionally succeed. About one time in 15, they actually tell a funny joke. So I'm going to take this briefing.
Mr. Buck, I have a call coming in from someone new. High Priestess Ra from the Order of the Sai.
Well, this ought to be interesting. Put her through.
Note that Buckman here is actually my employer. He's not my avatar in this game.
Sings your praises.
It's always nice to get a good reference from the universe. So, Madam High Priestess Ra, how can we help you?
My order needs more members. And please, simply call me High Priestess Ra.
My
Right, see?
people and
It's
I
cute.
aren't
You know, the
interested in
honorific
joining
joke. Like, that's the
orders.
kind of mistake I would make.
Yes, I knew you would say that, Mr. Man. The universe tells me you have a wonderful sense of humor. Our order does seek more members for the good of all that is good.
How does that actually help the universe?
We believe in the power of the universal conscious. The more members we have, the greater resources the universe will have for combating these space monsters that are disturbing everything. Plus, we give comfort to those seeking comfort in an ever-changing universe.
Ah, okay. Then what do you want me and my team to do?
Our task is simple. We want to start the celebration of life. Therefore, for the benefit of all that is good,
She's going to
we
throw
must
some kind
increase
of
our number of believers
Burning
here
Man
on our
festival in
capital
space.
planet
I just
Asuya.
know it.
In order to do that,
Only it's in
we
space,
need
so it'd
more
be
of our
freezing.
priestesses transported here. The universe decrees that we hire your fine team to travel to Zora and Wickus 8 to pick up our priestesses in their meditation rooms, and then deliver these rooms to Suyu. As my grandmother superior would say, easy peasy.
We have transported people before. I see no problem with this.
High Priestess, what special properties do these meditation rooms possess that my captain and,
And
I
here
should be
here's where
aware
the
of?
other shoe drops.
Ah, you are very perceptive for a creature without a soul. The rooms simply like to teleport at will. Apparently they go with the flow. Mr. Man, will you take the job? Our order has collected significant donations. Therefore, our coffers are quite full.
We'll start immediately.
I knew you would say that. I look forward to your success.
Who is she to say I don't have a soul?
Let's put off this discussion until you and the rookie finish your work.
So I am the rookie, apparently, in this context. Buck actually doesn't do runs himself anymore.
I knew you would come.
Yeah, I should probably. So, I am actually gonna take a break right now, mostly to hydrate. But I sort of have mixed feelings about High Priestess Ra here. I think she's the riffing on the Mother Superior from Dune. For those of you who have any use for Frank Herbert. Also, it's sort of vexing, the idea that the pods that I'm going to install on my ship won't stay where I put them, but at least they won't damage other parts of the ship. Oh yeah, see, Ruby, Ruby, if you really want, if you're specific, I can actually create contracts to assist you. I can create massive contracts for you to flop back and forth in the Verna system. As long as you're on the U.S. server, they should be available. So I'm gonna take a quick break here, as my wife recommends. Oh, I should mention the game is cloud saved. You can't not save, but that's fine because the game it does the right thing. It does the thing that's appropriate for all game design for experiences other than things like roguelikes or torture games like Dark Souls. This game will never punish you. You will never lose ground. You will never lose experience. You will never lose cargo. You will never lose money. Unless you foolishly spend your money on something, but then you can just get more money and spend it on more things. Progress is always progressive. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to drink a whole lot of some fluid. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to see what I can do for this priestess. She's actually kind of intimidating. Her soulless gaze. I'll be back.